So, how do you find a career that actually lasts? It's not just about paying the bills right now. It's about finding real stability and growth for the long haul. In this explainer, we're going to break down a really clear three-part blueprint to help you do just that.
Okay, so planning your career for the long haul, it can feel pretty overwhelming, right? You're trying to balance what you're actually passionate about with the need for real stability, especially in a world that feels like it's changing every 5 minutes. It's all about connecting those pieces into a solid foundation. So, let's take a look at how to do it.
So the big question is, how do we find a career that can really stand the test of time? That's the goal here. It's not about finding just any job, but identifying a career niche that's built to last. Let's dive into the framework for making that happen.
And this, right here, is the core challenge, isn't it? Finding that sweet spot, a career niche that's in demand when the economy is booming, but is also recession-proof when things get tough. It sounds like a tall order, for sure, but trust me, it's totally achievable with the right blueprint.
So our blueprint for finding this durable career is built on 3 main pillars. We're going to start with the first, and honestly, it's the most important one, your internal compass. Because let's face it, before you can even start analyzing the outside world, the first step always has to be looking inward.
So what does that really mean? Well, this first step boils down to a really simple but super powerful idea. On one side, you have your passions, the stuff you genuinely love to do. On the other side, you've got your strengths, the things you're just naturally good at. That sweet spot right in the middle, where those two overlap, that's where you're going to thrive. Okay, so once you have a good handle on your internal compass, it's time to look outward. And that brings us right to our second pillar, the external map. This is where you take everything you've learned about yourself, your strengths, your passions, and you align it with the realities of the professional world.
And here's the crucial point. You want to aim for industries that are on the upswing. The ones that are growing and have real long-term demand. It's kind of like you want to catch a rising wave, not one that's about to crash. That's how you really future-proof your career.
But how do you actually analyze the market? It's not as complex as it sounds. It really comes down to a 3-step process. First, you research the big growth trends. Then, you pinpoint the stable, recession-proof sectors inside those trends. And finally, you evaluate where your specific skills have the best potential to grow in value over time.
Let's break that down a bit. When we talk about growth trends, we're talking about the sectors that are literally shaping our future. Think about the explosive innovation happening in tech, the ever-increasing need for healthcare, and that massive global shift towards renewable energy. These are fields with some serious momentum.
Next up, stability. These are the so-called recession-proof sectors. No matter what the economy's doing, people will always need healthcare, IT infrastructure to keep things running, education, and of course, essential goods and services. A career here adds a really powerful layer of job security. And hey, did you notice the overlap? Healthcare is on both lists? That's a pretty strong signal.
And this brings us to the final piece of our market analysis. See, it's not enough for an industry to just be stable today. You have to find a niche where your skills are going to become more valuable over time, not obsolete. That right there is how you play the long game.
So, you've looked inward to understand yourself, and you've mapped out the external landscape to find opportunity. That brings us to our third and final pillar, finding a guide. Because honestly, the smartest way to navigate your career path is to learn from people who have already walked it.
So why is mentorship so crucial? Because a good mentor, well, they've already navigated the terrain you're about to enter. They can offer shortcuts, help you avoid the major pitfalls, and give you insights you just can't get from a book. Their experience literally becomes your competitive advantage.
And finding this kind of guidance is probably way more accessible than you think. There are organizations out there, the source we looked at mentioned one called West, for example, that are specifically designed to connect you with resources, with career coaches, and with mentors who can help you thrive on whatever path you choose.
All right, so we've explored the 3 core pillars. Now, let's put it all together. Let's build that single, actionable blueprint for your future.
And here it is in a nutshell. Your 3-pillar career blueprint. First, look inward with self-assessment to find your passions and strengths. Then, analyze outward with market research to find where those talents are needed in growing, stable industries. And finally, seek guidance through mentorship to help you along the way. It's a powerful and really straightforward plan.
So there you have it, the blueprint for building a career that's made to last. The framework is clear, and the plan is in your hands. So the only question left is, what's the very first brick you're going to lay?